Night football game last night. It was competitive. I'll give it that much. Of course, there's some NBA action to get into. We got a World Series starting tonight. Oh, by the way, last week we saw Keyshawn Johnson. He had on a Dodgers T-shirt. We won't get into the fact that it wasn't a jersey. It was just a T-shirt. But I see neither is the case today. Cause the Dodgers ain't playing in the damn World Series. Ain't that right, Keyshawn?
It is what it is, man. Move on.
See how he is?
That's the spirit.
See how he is? Gonna be a long day for this brother. First takes in the house. Let's go.
600 touchdown passes for Tom Brady.
The fan said when you asked for the football, he said he couldn't say no to Tom Brady.
He's going to get something nice in return.
Touchdown, Patriots!
They punch us in the freaking mouth.
How great is Jamar Chase?
Came in, you did a great game, just move on.
That's how you replace the injured Darren Waller.
He put it out there for me and just tried to pull it in.
Touchdown, I-N-D-Y.
It was just another game. This team, we got bigger goals.
Kick from Koo is away. Go! Atlanta wins.
There's no 50-50 balls with Devontae. It's always in his favor.
What an outstanding grab!
We did some pretty special things in my 5 years here.
I've said it a bunch of times. I love my time there. Once the ball was snapped, it was football time.
You're embarrassed. I mean, you just got spanked pretty good.
And the king has thrown for a big 6.
I'm always say Derek MVP for sure.
Good day. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. It's a glorious day here in New York City, and look what the cat dragged in. Keyshawn Johnson, ready to take on Stephen A.
What's up, my brother?
What's happening, man?
What's going on, man?
I'm just living the dream.
All right,
you
all right? You all right? I mean, the Dodgers are home. Dodgers are home.
Moving on,
Are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm good. We moving on. We won last year. It's time for somebody else to win.
So we just gonna move on.
And
It's time for somebody else to win.
Here's somebody else that's gonna win. I'm rooting for Dusty Baker.
So am I. So am I.
So, you know.
So am I.
I'm rooting for Dusty because as a kid, I used to sit in the left field pavilion and watch everybody throw the bubble gum out on the field before the start of the game.
Yeah, but you didn't bring up Dusty Baker last week when you was wearing the Dodgers T-shirt. That's all I'm trying to say.
At least I was able to wear a T-shirt last week. Your baseball team been eliminated. I'm assuming it's the Yankees. I'm assuming.
That would be the correct assumption.
So at least I got to wear my uniform a little longer.
Right.
Great spin by you. All right, week 7 is in the books. One of the surprises over the weekend was the beatdown Joe Burrow and the Bengals put on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens 41-17. But now both are tied for first place in the AFC North at 5-2. Just yesterday, Stephen A. said he'd take Burrow over Lamar Jackson. Take a listen.
Going forward, though, you're taking Joe Burrow.
I'm saying because
over Lamar Jackson.
Only because of this one position. I have been a stickler for many, many years. I know how electrifying Lamar Jackson is.
Right.
But I've been a stickler for years about when you play the quarterback position, I have to believe in your ability to throw the football consistently. Watching them throw the football, Joe Burrow just appears to be on another level.
Okay, Keyshawn, talk to me. Who would you rather have, Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow?
Here's what I'm going to say, Molly. I like Joe Burrow, but I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment either. I love Lamar Jackson. Ever since he's come into this league, the only thing he's done is go to the playoffs, win a playoff game, continue to get better. We've had this conversation many times, Stephen A., about Lamar Jackson's ability to throw the football. The moment y'all say he can't throw from in the pocket, the man is complete 68% of his passes from inside the pocket. When they say he couldn't, and all he's doing is showing you different. Yes, they got shellacked by the Cincinnati Bengals. Big deal. So what? That's not that big of a deal. He didn't play bad. He didn't play great. But at the same time, there's probably 3, maybe 4 quarterbacks that I would take over Joe Burrow post Patrick Mahomes entering the NFL. What I mean by that is Mahomes came in 17. Anybody after 18 I would take would be Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Herbert. Those would be the guys that I would take before I even get to Joe Burrow. Okay? And Lamar Jackson is in front of that line. I don't understand when you look at a dynamic playmaker, both with his legs and his arm, defeating and beating all odds against him consistently, and has his team in a position to make a strong playoff run Why is that a problem?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's a problem, and that's why I think you're wrong because you're getting all emotional about it, and that's fine.
I ain't crying.
I understand that. That don't mean you only got to cry to be emotional now. We all know that. But here's the reality of the situation. Lamar Jackson is sensational. Nobody's taking that away from him. And just because you say you take somebody else is not to denigrate Lamar Jackson like he's some scrub. This brother's a former league MVP, and he's box office, by the way.
Absolutely.
As far as I'm concerned, he deserves more money than Josh Allen. And Josh Allen's getting 6 years, $258 million. I get all of that. But what I'm saying is, from the quarterback position, when you sit back and you watch somebody be a pure passer, when you look at them, I just believe right now, Joe Burrow appears to be that guy. Now, can Lamar Jackson prove me wrong? Sure he can. When I see him do it in the playoffs. That's
you ain't seen Joe Burrow do nothing. He ain't made the playoffs.
That's what this is only his second year. Last year was his rookie year. He got hurt his rookie year, Keyshawn. I mean, damn, he's a puppy. He's just getting started. Hold it, wait a minute.
No, man, I can't let you do this.
No, yes, you can.
On your own show, I can't
you
let you
absolutely
do
can let me
this.
do that. And here's why you can let me do that. Because you brought Justin Herbert into the equation. He ain't been in the playoffs either. Last year was his rookie year. And he had this rookie year, and then he has this year. So what I'm saying is, when he's been on the field, you're going by what you see to elevate Justin Herbert. I can do that about Joe Burrow.
And I say you couldn't. I'm just saying you are wrong to think that.
I'm not wrong.
Okay.
I'm not wrong. But go ahead.
I don't think that there's today.
Okay.
I don't think there's 30 other teams in the National Football League that wouldn't take Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow.
And listen, you know what? I'm not going to dispute that. What I'm saying to you is this. You're going to take Lamar Jackson because of the electrifying overall
so why
talent
are we
that
even
he
having
brings
this conversation?
Because you saw me yesterday talking about Joe Burrow strictly as a passer, and you took issue with that.
Let me ask you this.
We started off with
Let me ask you this, big bro.
Yes,
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
So, Molly, too. If Lamar Jackson is completing, 68% of his passes.
He's at 64.9%.
Okay, dropped because it dropped.
Yes.
Let's just use 68.
No,
Burrow's at 68.
He's at 65. I have all the numbers. Burrow's at 69. They both have a 60 QBR. They have the same amount of yards.
If they wasn't out there dropping passes at an alarming rate.
You've been saying that a while now.
What?
You've been saying that around now. It has happened, but they've caught some passes too.
Yes, and it elevated it. But that Detroit game, when they was out there fumbling and dumbling.
That was a bad game, absolutely.
So my whole point is, you say completing passes. If they were at 70%, is that a problem? What you want them to be at, 85%?
No.
What do you want them to be at then? Tell me.
Again, it's not about a number. I'm comparing because
it has to be about a number,
let me finish.
Stephen A.
This is what you're missing. Lamar Jackson, the stud that he is. Why do I keep bringing up Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, people, Justin Herbert, people like that? Derek Carr even. Let me finish. We can go there later. Absolutely. They're standing there in the same conference. See, if this was something where they never meet one another and we could just speculate, I get your point. But what I'm trying to say is that at some point in time, for Lamar Jackson to get to the promised land, the likelihood is he's going to have to go through them to do it. And they got to go through him.
Absolutely.
So what I'm saying to you is I'm looking at it from that perspective, not taking anything away from his greatness, but I'm simply pointing out when you've got
you don't think he can do it?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying until he does, this is what I think. And when I think about Joe Burrow throwing the football, I have more confidence in him purely throwing the football.
Okay, I'm going to say one thing and we're going to let you go, Molly.
Keyshawn, give me your one major point on why you like Lamar better. He's saying it's throwing the football. Give us your one major reason
I feel
why.
like no matter what the situation is, I'm always in it. No matter what the situation is. Rain,
so he's a playmaker.
And Joe Burrow got way better skill position weapons.
That is true.
And Lamar is still out there cooking.
Hold on, wait a minute.
No, I'm letting Molly move on. You lose.
We are moving on.
Hey, lose. I ain't going to do that.
Monday Night Football. We had the Saints and Seahawks in action.
How the day's going.
I'm proud that we're listening to time cues, though. I mean, this is special. For Seattle, Geno Smith was at the helm as Russell Wilson recovers from a finger injury. But Jameis Winston and the Saints got the W on the road in what is a hostile environment to play. 13-10, low-scoring affair. New Orleans 4-2, second in the division behind the Bucs. We know Keyshawn's nephew, star receiver, back soon. He's not even out there yet. So with that being said, Keyshawn, what is the Saints' ceiling in the NFC?
You know, I feel like, and I felt this way at the beginning of the season, yes, I'm a little biased, and yes, it is some nepotism on my side with my nephew once he comes back healthy. I think they get some added boost. I think they're probably could be a 2-3 seed. And here's what I'm thinking.
What?
Because of their defense is getting better. And when he comes back, he adds an extra element to the game. He gives a different comfort level to Jameis Winston. Don't look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which, by the way, the New Orleans Saints accept the playoffs. They usually beat Tampa every year in the regular season.
That is fair.
Sean Payton, for whatever reason, understands them a little bit.
Okay.
You look at that.
Okay.
The Green Bay Packers are there. The Arizona Cardinals, Dallas Cowboys are there. So you got 2, 3. I'm saying they could probably be in that 2-3 category. I don't think that they're going to catch the number 1 seed, but I think 2-3, they could. They can catch 2-3.
That is ridiculous.
Tell me why.
That is ridiculous.
Tell me why.
First of all, right, well, let's go down the list. Unfortunately, we have to put the Cowboys in that mix. Fair enough, the NFC least. We got to put them in there, right? They ain't playing against anybody. It's all right. You got to put Arizona in there. They're the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Okay.
You ain't catching Tampa Bay. You ain't catching them.
Why you not going to catch them?
Because you're not going to catch them. You're not gonna,
so Tampa ain't going to lose no more games the rest of the season?
I don't think that Tampa Bay will.
They got to play each other. Hello?
Yeah. They're going to win both games. They ain't going to win both games.
They won both games last year in the regular season.
It's not going to happen. No,
I'm just telling you.
It's not going to happen this time around. I'm saying it's not going to happen this time around.
I can't see in the future as far as you.
Okay, now also Green Bay. All right, so I just gave you 4 teams. I just gave you 4 teams. I mean, you could get a 5th seed, 5th, 6th, or 7th seed, yeah. But there ain't going to be no 2 or 3. That's definitely some nepotism and bias and all of that other stuff.
I'm telling you the real. I do have nepotism and bias.
Okay.
But I also understand how they play and their style of play.
Hold on, wait.
And you trust Jameis Winston?
We
he hasn't been turning the ball over.
That's you're 100% right. And everybody's waiting for him to do that. But Sean's not going to let him do that.
We understand that it's listen. We understand how they play. We also know this ain't Drew Brees quarterbacking now. This is Jameis Winston.
You act like the last several years, Drew Brees has just been lighting it up to the whole nother degree.
Well, I understand that might not have been the case, but he was still better than Jameis Winston.
He was better than Jameis Winston as far as you saw. As far as they see right now, Jameis Winston is 4-2, man. Let's keep it 100. He's 4-2, and he, like Molly astutely said, if that's the correct word that I should use.
It is astute.
Okay. Said that the man has not been turning the ball over.
I agree with that.
So if
he ain't been putting listen, 13-10. Let's not write home about it, okay?
It doesn't matter.
A win is a win.
You going on the road in a hostile environment with rain. I'm not tripping.
Listen. What I'm saying to you is this. When we look at the New Orleans Saints, do I anticipate they can make the playoffs? Absolutely. All right? Do I see them as a top 3 seed in an NFC?
They 4-2, man. They 4-2.
No, it ain't happening.
They got you know who in their division clearly, right? Carolina and Atlanta. So you're gonna give them wins. It's gonna come down. I am. I am.
I can see them losing one of those games.
They already lost Carolina. They lost to Carolina based on the coaches, in my opinion, not even being there. Remember, the coaches had the COVID situation.
Right.
Half the
Carolina's kind of on the decline right now, too.
Carolina's on the decline. Yeah. Atlanta's just there. It's Atlanta, whatever.
Okay.
And then you got Tampa Bay within the division. So let me assume that they take care of Tampa Bay twice.
Twice.
Yeah,
so that's what this is about. So you think I want to be very clear now, Keyshawn.
Yes.
So you think they're going to beat Tampa Bay twice, and as a result, take the South.
Based on
why? That's where you lose me.
Knowledge,
Tampa Bay twice.
Based on their knowledge. See, I'm not going to get
on
caught up
in knowledge. What about Tom Brady's knowledge?
Yeah, but I'm not going to get caught up in the Tom Brady was there last year and they beat him twice.
Okay.
Yeah, his first year.
And then let me be honest with you. And then in the regular season, in the postseason, you had a receiver that was their most dominant player, couldn't get out of the bed with 2 ankle problems. Yeah. You had a running back that had some COVID issues that was missing time. Yeah. And you also had a quarterback that had barbecue ribs. Yeah. I know what I'm looking at, but we can visit that in January.
No. Nah, dog. We're going to visit that right now.
I need to
I just want to be very clear. I want to be very clear.
Hold on, wait.
No.
I'm pulling it up.
Hold on, Molly. You don't even need the schedule. Because what this man said is the same Tom Brady that lost to them twice last year is going to lose to them twice more. So in other words, New Orleans is going to beat Tom Brady 4 straight times, and as 2 last year, 2 this year, and take the NFC
4 straight because he beat him in the playoffs. 4 in the regular season straight.
Okay.
I'm just correcting because I don't want somebody
that's fair.
To be saying something.
I appreciate it. Because I forgot that they beat him in the playoffs. I forgot about that.
But it's hard as hell to beat a team 3 times. It's hard to beat a team 3 times.
So Tom Brady's going to lose 4 straight regular season games to New Orleans?
I think so. I think so.
No, you don't.
And it starts
You don't
on
believe
Sunday.
it? You don't believe it?
Yes.
Yep.
This
It starts on
Sunday.
Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. And where's the game at?
The game's in New Orleans.
So there you go. We're going to get that one. And
Yeah.
I think my nephew might be back.
And by the way,
For Sunday?
By the way,
might be.
by
Okay, the
way,
December 19th
why has your
matchup will be
nephew
there.
been going this long?
Yeah,
Surgery on his ankles.
What is the
Yeah,
deal
surgery.
with that?
Yeah, surgery.
Wait, I got another question.
He had late
though.
surgery.
Since we have you, and it's a family affair.
It's a family affair.
I ain't got no problem.
So I got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did he wait though to get the
I don't
surgery?
know that he waited. I don't know that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't know that they told him something different.
No, I believe you.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, I don't know that.
I believe you. I'm not going to question. I'm not going to question you on that, and
Wow,
that's for him to
that's
answer.
nice.
No,
I'm
but
just
what I
gonna-
will
I'm
say,
gonna
what
leave
I will
it.
say to let you know my position about your nephew, because I think Michael Thomas is a stud. The brother's a big time ball player when he's out there. I was appalled to hear you had surgery in June. When July, when the season ended in January, you're like, what the hell you waiting for?
Yeah, there may have been a communication breakdown. Let's say that
Communication breakdown.
There may have been a communication breakdown.
Okay.
And sometimes there are individuals in the world that we live in want to give information that they want to give versus information that should have been given. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. We roll with that.
Can I ask
We
you
gonna roll
one
with
more
that.
question?
Yes,
Is your
ma'am.
nephew excited to return?
I think he will be when the time comes.
Okay.
Because he wants to quiet down all the noise.
He will. What noise?
And the haters, man, people chirping and stuff. You know how they go.
Man, no. What's the kid? Let me tell you something, Michael Thomas. Ain't nobody. I don't want to hear that.
I didn't say you.
I know that. Nobody's hating on Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is an all-world receiver. What we hating on is the fact that we're not seeing him be all-world because he ain't on the field.
Social media beef and the whole thing. Yeah, with
you
Sean
in the
Payton
media.
in the media.
Don't let your
I'm not
nephew
in the
believe that.
media.
No, but there
Now,
was
one
stories.
credential I own says media.
Really? So you just hosting a national radio show? Ain't they ain't media?
Keyshawn, there's a statute of limitations and how many times you can lie in the first 15 minutes
Yes,
of the show.
exactly.
I mean,
come on, man.
Seriously.
You in the media, bro.
I work for a media outlet.
You host a nationally
that happens to be
syndicated.
owned by Disney.
You own
my check in the right-hand corner has Mickey Mouse.
For ESPN for a very long
So
time.
does mine. And I'm in the media.
Yours is automatic payment, I'm sure.
I mean-
Because the checks, they can't put in all the numbers.
Folks are just out here lying today to people's faces. Wow. We're gonna move on. Still to come on First Take. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. At FAMU.
You know what time it is, right? It's time for Steven's A-List. Here's the deal. The list is fluid.
I know it's fluid. I know all of that.
I'm glad it's fluid.
I think he's confused.
The list is fluid. It's fluid. It's fluid.
Only recency bias, Batman.
Because you done lost your mind.
If it's so fluid,
Yes,
how
I
are we
do.
not considering the Bills?
You can come back because the list is fluid.
You know how he gets away with all of it? It's fluid, man. It's fluid.
You're biased, Jeff Saturday. You're biased.
You can do what you need to do. It's your list.
This list is bananas.
It's fluid. It's fluid. That's right, y'all. It is fluid, okay? There's no question about that. It's fluid. Steven's A-List. Week 7. You see this list right here? It's getting ready to come up. I'm trying to tell you right now. Keyshawn and Just Saturday, they lifted it. They try to jump on me. It don't matter. I got them this week. I know what I'm doing, all right? We're going to go to the top 5 teams in the National Football League after week 7 right now. Number 5 on the list. Give it to me. Bam! The Rams. Why? We see Matthew Stafford. We see Cup. We see Woods. We see what those brothers are doing. They're handling their business. Although it was against the Detroit Lions, we understand it. The bottom line is they only got 1 loss on the season. I'm going to give it to the Rams right now. They are top 5 team in the NFL. They ain't top 4, though. Give me number 4 on the list, please. Right there. The Packers. Why? Because he's a bad man. That's why it ain't about the Packers. It's about that brother Aaron Rodgers continuing to do what he does. They've only got 1 loss. You see, they're handling their business okay. They beat a few teams themselves. We sort of handle Washington, sort of beat Chicago. We understand what's going on. Aaron Rodgers. Let's go to number 3 on the list, please. You look at this, Keyshawn. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, now I had them at number 2 on the list. They had a bye week. I'm putting them at number 3. I know what I'm doing. Just Saturday, the most potent offense, arguably, in the National Football League. The defense has improved. They've slaughtered inferior competition. They're going to have inferior competition for weeks to come. But because their offense looks so pure right now, we're going to give them some love and leave them as a top 3 team on the list. They ain't top 2, though. You know who top 2 is, number 2, right? The reigning, defending Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why? Because because Tom Brady and the crew are putting up buckets. By the way, they have a victory over the Dallas Cowboys, okay? Even though they didn't have a bye week and the Dallas Cowboys did, I like what I'm seeing from Tampa Bay right now. They seem to be getting everything going. Defensively, they seem to be getting a little bit better as well. They're the reigning defending champions. They're a top 2 team on the list, but they ain't number 1. We know who number 1 is. The number 1 team in the National Football League, the only undefeated team in the National Football League. That is the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray. A.J. Green coming out of the woodwork. Got 100-plus, 50-plus yards receiving. We know what Kyler Murray can do. You understand DeAndre Hopkins and what he can bring to the table. The defense is opportunistic. I know you don't see a single AFC team on here. It was intentional. The Buffalo Bills, no. We saw what just happened to the Ravens. The Bengals got 2 losses on their schedule, including one of the Chicago Bears. Don't get me started with no Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, they've won 2 straight without John Gruden, but they had lost 2 straight. Prior to that, they've got 2 losses themselves. None of the AFC teams belong above these teams. This is my top 5 A-list, y'all. Here we go.
So look, this is
horrible.
This is terrible.
This is so bad.
It's you and the terrible in this right
Terrible.
Oh.
What? Why?
Terrible.
Why? What's the problem?
You offended the Packers by saying they beat Chicago and Washington. Get out of here.
Seriously.
Listen, they won 6 straight. I should have just said that. They won 6 straight. They won 6 straight.
They won 6 straight.
Okay. They're doing their thing. They're doing their thing.
Listen, I'm going to go ahead with 4 and 5, and I would move up. You got to get some AFC teams on here.
Why?
Listen, the Packers, who have the Packers beat? You just heard who have the Packers beat? Their defense is suspect. All right, you got the bad man.
Last week you got on me because I had
Adams ain't going to play.
You had him here last week.
So they're about to have 2 losses.
You had him here last week.
I'm helping you with your.
It's fluid. It's fluid, right?
And the Rams, listen, the Rams, everybody's excited about the Rams. Sean McVay, this whole thing. This is a poor rushing the football team. I'm just going to let you know they're 28th in the league in yards.
They got to run.
They do have to run.
They're going to, but they don't have to yet.
They're going to have to.
Not yet.
So those 2, I got to have some Bills, and the Bengals are high. I'm going Bills and Bengals. Bills at 4, Bengals at 5.
Really?
Yes.
You switch it up on me.
Recency bias. It's fluid. It's fluid.
Stop on me.
I'm going to have to throw
fluid.
Even though the Bills lost to the Titans in the way that they lost their game, I'm going to still have to drop them at 4, and I'm going to have to put the Titans.
I like that.
I'm going to have to put the Titans at 4 and drop them at 5.
You going to put the Titans?
If I do that, or I'm going to slide the Raiders in at 5.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Hold on, sir. Hold on. You said they lost 2 straight. I'm just going to ask you a real question on your show on national television. Do you think at all the Sunday that they lost to, was it the Bears? Do you think at all? Who did they lose to? They lost the week. It was the Bears.
The Bears.
Do you think at all on your show, Stephen A's list, that anything that was going on 24, 40 hours prior to that had anything to do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you really ain't going to give them that loss.
I believe that.
Okay.
But it doesn't negate the fact that it's an L.
Yeah, it does.
It's still an L.
It does for me because when that person was removed and Rich Bisaccia took over, they look like a totally different team.
Against the Eagles.
It don't matter.
Excuse me. Against the Eagles.
You just said
Excuse me, gentlemen. Can I just say something? The one time he decides to show the Cowboys love on his fluid list is when they're coming off a bye.
Yes.
No one has an issue with that.
I dropped them on the bye. What do you mean at one time? You're wrong, Molly. You're wrong.
I mean, the fact is I've had the Dallas Cowboys
Here's my biggest question. Why did you look so confused when he said the Titans? Like that would be an insult. They just beat 2 of the best teams in the NFL back to back.
You consider you feel that way about the Chiefs right now?
No,
I know.
Stephen, there's 2 conferences in football.
They
whooped the team that everybody said was going to win 8 Super Bowls in 3 years.
They whipped the team that has no defense. The defense is trash. The defense is trash. We all know this. We know this.
They still took care of business.
But you can't just dismiss what they're doing and the fashion they did it. They completely dominated.
Okay, I respect that, and I'm not.
But you got 5 innocent. You did disrespect it. You got 5 innocent. But your actions showed the disrespect. It wasn't just.
Well, I'm trying to say this. Show me again if you're the Tennessee Titans. Let's see what they do this upcoming week. Because it's fluid. Hey, it's fluid for you. It's fluid for you. Remember, he had the Packers in his top 4 last week.
Okay.
How you gonna switch up on me now?
I just have to do one thing before we go to break. top 5 NFC teams or NFL teams?
NFL teams.
Thank
you, Molly. Get it together and revisit it a little later in the show.
She ain't got to roll up in here like that. You know what I'm saying?
Still to come on First Take, Brady's Bucks, number 2, as you see on Stephen A's list, and number 2 on Stephen A's list, not me. All right, coming to you from above the Heineken River deck at Pier 17. Stephen A's a little bitter, but Stephen A, you got something else for us?
Oh, yeah.
Put a smile on our face?
Real quick.
Okay.
There was some stuff last night, Jay Williams, Keyshawn Johnson. Something. Look at Laurie Walker. There is a signing. He is still with the Chicago Bulls. Look at that right there. That was a nice dunk by that brother right there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's with Cavs.
I'm sorry. I forgot he left the Bulls. Look at that. And look at this dunk right here by Brandon Ingram on Anthony Edwards. Look at that right there, Brandon Ingram. That was a nice dunk, but that's why it's top 5. It's not top 3. Here's a top 3 one right here. It's Anthony Edwards. Look at that. Yeah. That's Anthony Edwards right there. Look at that brother right there. Something special. Some people felt he should have been a Rookie of the Year. I think he should have been co-Rookie of the Year with him and LaMelo myself. But nevertheless, that was look at number 2 on the list. Look at this dunk right here. That's one dunk by John Collins, okay? Look at that nasty one. But check out the other one that's about to come right here. Check out this dude, Jay Wood. Look at this.
Climb on his back. Climb on his back.
Lord. Oh, that was nasty right there. Nice dunk. But it ain't number 1 on the list. Look at the dunk of the night right here. We used to see Miles Bridges dunk on people. Look at Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. Oh, damn. And I love Miles Bridges. He's special. But that he got
sensational since
he got posterized right there.
Man, you're not
Yeah, you got to know there's certain things that you got to know. Don't challenge. Miles Bridges is used to dunking on people. He got caught last night. He got caught.
That back looks like you on a 6-foot rim.
If there's anybody that'll get the league back on dunks, it's Miles Bridges.
Jay, any disagreement on that order?
No, I got no problem at all.
Okay.
No problem at all.
Nice job.
You're right. Yeah, that's a good list right there. That's an A-type list.
Take your victory lap.
That's an A list.
That was a good moment for you. Dead Fox right twice a day.
Keyshawn don't want to give it. He's just holding out.
No, it's cool.
Right, it's cool.
Other than the last 2 the first 2 was all right.
No, they was top 5 of the night.
Yeah, they was all right. That was cool.
They were all right. That's why they weren't top 2.
All right.
See what I'm saying?
Let's get to the Lakers.
You know what?
Some things happened over the weekend. Lakers. They unraveled on Friday night. 115-105 loss to Phoenix. The ugliest moment happening when teammates Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard got into a physical altercation on the bench in the second quarter. Magic Johnson tweeting this. Dwight Howard and AD getting into a physical altercation on the bench. In my 42 years of being associated with the Lakers organization, I've never seen something like that. Lakers are 1-2, lost it to the Warriors, the Suns, as I just mentioned, and beating the Grizz by 3 on Sunday. Should the Lakers still be the favorites to win it all, Jay?
You're damn right they should be. Let me give you a Kobe Bryant quote. Everything negative, pressure and challenges, it's all an opportunity for me to rise. All these things, guys, veteran teams, people aren't going to like to hear it because we want to see the Lakers come out strong and be that team that dominates people right away. This is like training camp for them, right? They have to work out so many different things with their team defensively, a lot of question marks around it. That whole thing about passion, for me, that conflict is a good sign of growth because that was about miscues on how they guard a screen and roll. And my thing is, I don't want anybody on that team to settle for mediocrity. And LeBron James knows. You also saw in that game him talking trash to Cameron Payne. You say, all right, remember, be humble now. So I'm going to bet the house on the fact that guys like Russell Westbrook, he and I talk about on our show all the time. We as athletes, I'm petty. I'm crazy competitive. I remember everything you do. So all the people lambasting Russell Westbrook, you don't think he's going to remember that? All the people talking trash to LeBron James, you don't think he's going to remember that? People not having Dwight Howard on the top 75 list, you don't think Dwight remembers that? That conflict you saw? These are all things that are going to perpetuate and motivate the Lakers. I don't care about where they start. I care about where they finish.
Yeah, and I think they still are the team to beat despite this little tit that they had on the sideline. In practice, you can only imagine, Stephen and Molly, what goes on in practice. The arguments, the pushing and shoving. They're trying to sort things out. Yeah. This won't be the first time. This isn't the first time, and it won't be the last time. It just so happened it was on television. We saw it, and it was like, oh, God, what is going on here? It didn't cost them the game. It didn't cost them their season.
But why was Magic so bothered by it then?
Well, because Magic's been in a situation, like you said, for 42 years. He's never seen that. They handled their confrontation differently when he played.
I've seen a lot of confrontation like that.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people go at it. I've worked out with Kobe. I've seen Kobe try to fight. I've seen Michael Jordan try to fight people.
That's not the biggest reason. If they were not to advance, that wouldn't be the biggest reason. It would be because their age, they're breaking down, they're not playing defense. That would be the problem, Stephen A.
Let me say this. First of all, the argument was nothing. It was much ado about nothing. And if you look at Dwight Howard, when Dwight Howard was going back at him, because NBA TV showed the complete footage, and AD had chased D. Howard down and confronted him. All Dwight Howard was saying to him was not on camera, not in public. If you look at him and you watch him, he's like, not here.
Yeah, being a veteran.
In other words, he's like, not here. That's all he was saying. He wasn't having a problem with Anthony Davis, what Anthony Davis was saying. He's saying, you don't come at me like that with the cameras rolling in front of everybody. That's all Dwight Howard was saying. That's number one. Number two, let me say this to you. It wasn't a big deal, but what I'm seeing from the Lakers is a big deal only in this respect. It ain't about Russell Westbrook and questioning him. This brother's a walking triple-double. He's a future Hall of Famer. He made it on my top 75 list. Of course, LeBron did. Of course, AD did. Of course, Carmelo Anthony did. Dwight Howard, no, he'll be my top 100. He wasn't my top 75. That's a subject for another day. But let me tell you something right now. My reservations about the Lakers is my reservations about everybody. I am willing to sit here in front of y'all right now, and I'm telling you right now, the Golden State Warriors might win it all. And I'm telling you this, and let me say, I'm getting to a point where I'm using my imagination, imagining Klay Thompson comes back. Of course, I'm not talking about as presently constructed. Klay Thompson comes back. Wiseman comes back. All right, what I've seen from Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Damian Lee, Kuminga coming back. You know, they're not coming. You know, he's the first round pick, number 7 overall. I'm looking at this squad, their ability to hit shots and free throws. And I'm telling you right now, if Klay Thompson and brothers come back healthy, the only thing that will have any chance of stopping them is Kyrie Irving returning to Brooklyn to join Harden and KD. There is no one else, including the Lakers, that will be able to knock off the Golden State Warriors.
See, I push back on you.
That's where I'm at with that.
And not as a Laker fan, but merely as a basketball fan. Because this is a new team and a new nucleus coming together. You've got to give them an opportunity to gel. We just assume Klay Thompson's going to come back as Klay Thompson.
Right.
This brother's had 2 different surgeries over the last couple of years.
I want to respond to that, but let me say this to you. A couple of things that you need to pay attention to that I'm bringing up. Number one, I'm assuming the Lakers are going to get it together because I believe in any team led by LeBron James, they eventually will be ready. So long as they're healthy, they eventually will be ready come playoff time. And I believe in Russell Westbrook. I think he gets a bad rap, people calling him selfish or whatever. He might need to make better decisions, but he definitely needs to improve his perimeter shot because they dare him to shoot sometimes. That's problematic for them. And him and LeBron James have both struggled to shoot 70% from the free throw line in the last 3 years. People have ignored that. You got to make free throws come playoff time. That's one element. And number two, it's important, Jay, because you know you're going to get to the line. The game slows down. Defenses get back. More fouls are called. You're going to have to make free throws. We know Golden State ain't missing them. But these guys, they might miss them. Number two, and more importantly, remember when you bring up Klay Thompson's key?
Yes.
If it's Russell Westbrook and he has that kind of injury, it's a disaster. Because his success is predicated on his athleticism.
But he still got to play defense.
Klay Thompson.
But Klay got to still got to play defense.
Time out. Klay's success is based off his athleticism too now. Don't sleep on his athleticism.
I'm not.
Klay Thompson is one of the most athletic dudes here.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about he's such a pure shooter is what I'm saying.
Great. So you see him as a pure...
He's not going to lose his shot. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, but he was also one of their biggest clampdown defenders when it came to clutch moments.
I agree with that.
And my thing is, when you have you haven't played basketball in 2 years. If you were to sit here and say, next year, I'm okay. I hear you on that next year, because I actually want to see Klay play for a significant amount of time, not get injured, find his rhythm. I think that's a lot to put on Klay Thompson coming back this year. Left knee, torn ACL.
Twice.
Comes back off that. Torn Achilles in the right leg. That's compensation off another one. I'm not going to sit here and say Klay Thompson's going to be what he was 2.5 years ago before he got hurt defensively. I think that's a huge loss for them.
That's why I brought up the defensive side of it as a shooter.
I can't say just because Klay Thompson comes back,
No, but
if he's healthy, they're going to be that team.
I'm saying,
no
remember,
question.
I brought up Wiseman.
Yes.
All right. I brought up the development of Poole, Lee, Wiggins. I also brought up Kuminga. So I'm looking at all of them, and I'm saying to
So you're just discounting Denver?
No.
Because how about when Jamal Murray comes back?
What
about Jamal Murray and Michael Porter?
Here's how I feel. I feel that the Denver Nuggets run into the kryptonite that is the Los Angeles Lakers because the Joker is the key to their success, and the one person that can neutralize him is Anthony Davis. But Anthony Davis, that's a different animal against Golden State because they're perimeter players. And because they're perimeter players and they hurt you from the outside, you don't have to contend with Anthony Davis as much as Denver would because your success is predicated on Jokic.
Let's leave it there. Let me get to another topic. Lakers have the best odds to win the West, according to Caesars, and the Warriors are second as of right now.
I'm going to take Caesars and go with them.
Okay. You enjoy Caesars.
We can do that now as long as Klay Thompson's still a question.
In a loss to the Celtics, putting up 25-5-9 last night. Meanwhile, another young superstar, Ja Morant, showed out in a three-point loss Sunday to the Lakers, dropping 43-10. Ja was picked second overall in 2019. LaMelo Ball third in 2020. That got us thinking, who would you rather have, Ja or LaMelo? Who wants to start here?
Go ahead, S.A.
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, we've been starting every show we come on. We always start.
We want this to be second take.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. It's Ja Morant.
Okay.
This brother's on another level. I don't like the fact that he missed up the back end of
free throw. Yeah,
free throw.
40-10.
I believe in this brother. This brother is a superstar in the making, and that's not to throw any shade on LaMelo Ball, who obviously I got a lot of love for. And by the way, let's give his pops some props. His pops told us for many years. Listen, these guys, my sons can play. Lonzo has elevated his game. I think the best thing that's happened to Lonzo.
Get out of LA, though. That was the best thing.
The best thing. Part one was him getting out of LA. Part two was his brother entering the league.
Yeah.
Because you got that sibling rivalry. And he elevates his game, and so you see that. Because LaMelo is the kind of dude that he just got a lot of heart and skill. Beautiful point guard, tremendous promise, not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying that when I look at Ja Morant, this brother is sensational. I mean, he's got box office superstardom written all over him, okay? And he's only getting better. He's ferocious. He's incredibly athletic. Is he a passer like LaMelo? No, he's everything else. Everything else. Ja Morant is the real deal. And not only is he the real deal in terms of numbers, he's the real deal in terms of competitiveness. You walk through the turnstiles to see the show that this brother's going to put on. I'm a Ja Morant fan, and even over LaMelo Ball. And I love LaMelo Ball, but Ja Morant is a special dude.
Yeah, I like Ja, and I was talking to Jay about this a while ago. Ja reminds me a lot of Dame, right? He reminds me just a lot. High scoring volume.
Yeah, not the long range game.
Not a long range, but the high score, the volume.
Yep.
And to a degree, LaMelo reminds me of Jason Kidd, but a better scorer. Okay?
I like that analogy.
So when I'm looking at that, you say, well, who would you rather have to build your team around, for instance? I'd rather have a dude that's complete like Ball. Complete, which means he can score, he's long,
I don't know if he
rebound.
plays better defense than Ja Morant.
Here's what I'm going to say. You also have to factor into his youth and his age. This is the first time in his career he's really played organized basketball. Not no high school stuff real quick, not overseas real quick. This is the first time. He didn't play in college, and he only played a stint overseas that was real organized basketball. In high school, it's high school. This is the first time. He's only going to continue to get better.
You could make an argument that playing overseas better prepares you than actually playing in college because of the professional game.
He didn't finish playing though.
But he
only played a handful of games.
I think he has an advantage because he's played around his brothers for a long time, and Lonzo's always played a pro-like game in the way that you see the floor. S.A., I hear what you're saying. Have you ever stood? Have you been next to Ja?
No.
So they labeled Ja as 6'3". Ja ain't 6'3". Now I'm with you on Ja. You know how I'm built. I'm already connected there. Ja's like 6'1.5", 6'2", right? Okay. Fantastic athletic. LaMelo's 6'7".
Yeah, long.
Was not even grown into his body yet.
I stood next to him.
He's 6'7", was not grown into his body yet.
Okay.
Now the playmaking ability, that's where I think I have to fight back because I didn't agree with Key at first on this one.
Okay.
LaMelo Ball might end up becoming the face of the league.
Tried to tell Jay this a year ago.
No,
we talked about this. So he might not.
And I said it might not happen in Charlotte. He may have to move to become that face to a bigger market, but I see it happening.
I hope for Jordan's sake he stays in Charlotte.
And Ja's on his way, but let me tell you where LaMelo has a different advantage than Ja. See, LaMelo has been built into this distribution network from his brother, the show, everything. You know everything about LaMelo from an early age. If it's him pulling up to a game in a green jacket and a green Lamborghini, you hate it if you like it, right? It's polarizing. But his on the court play speaks volumes because he gets everybody involved. So it's a combination of both. Where I think Ja is way more understated, absolute killer. But what LaMelo can grow into, I think he has a higher ceiling.
I would say that,
I think he can have a higher ceiling.
Y'all. Here's what I would say. We've seen, like you talk about the greatness of a Jason Kidd and guys like that, right? But when you looked at Kobe, it was just something different.
It was an it factor.
And I'm telling you that when it comes, because Jason Kidd had the it factor now. Mm-hmm. Jason Kidd was a showman. It wasn't Showtime with Magic and stuff. But Jason Kidd was one of those dudes that reminded you of what Showtime used to be, because Jason Kidd leading the break
when he came
was something
into the
special
league.
to behold.
It
was spectacular. What I'm saying to you is when you look at Ja Morant, he is a killer. He's a guy that you give the ball to LaMelo to make the right play. You give the ball to Ja Morant, finish the deal. There's just a different mentality. And I'm saying to you, I can't ignore that. Right now, it's only 3 games into the season. He averaging 35 on 58% shooting, 44% for 3-point range. We know that's not going to last in terms of the percentage. But the point, this brother can do it anytime he wants to. He's that spectacular, and he's a killer. You saw him in a playing game against Golden State in the playoffs. You see what this guy has done in pressure moments. He answers the call. And I'm just saying, I can't ignore that killer in him that shows up when it counts. Ja Morant is special. Mm-hmm. Is special.
I agree. Right. You have to take into consideration, though, he's a year further ahead in the process.
Okay.
Year 3 as opposed to LaMelo, who's got the Rookie of the Year, right? And also look at the makeup of the team. Now, I'm not saying, dismissing, Ja's not elevating Dylan Brooks and Jackson and all these guys. But you look at the makeup of the team that LaMelo has, the fact they were in the consideration last year before the bottom kind of dropped out, they're right there. He's on pace. Yeah. He's on pace to do something similar.
All right, well, it's fluid. It's fluid. It's fluid.
Yes, I like this
but
line.
the bottom line is you can't ignore when we think about the great players that we talk about. When you think about that 75 list, we talk about most of the people who made the list were people who closed, people who finished, people who had that it factor. And I'm saying Ja Morant has that. No one will deny that. No one will deny that.
You lose again.
No, I don't.
All right. Well, let's leave it there.
What's
Jay
the record?
will
Are
be
you
back
up
with
to?
us in just a
2-0?
bit. Jeff Saturday joining us
him,
next.
he's always
Still
up.
ahead on first. Stand a chance on Thursday night versus the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. Key and Stephen A. not seeing eye to eye on that. Plus, Mina Kimes, my girl, joining us with a shocking take on her team's head coach, Pete Carroll. And Stephen A.'s must-hear thoughts on where the Kyrie situation stands. All that coming up, but we start here with Tom Brady and his latest milestone. That came Sunday. Brady became the first quarterback to throw 600 career TD passes on a 9-yard strike touchdown to Mike Evans late in the opening quarter against the Bears. The 7-ring man got us thinking about greatness. We know we witness greatness on the hardwood as well anytime LeBron James is on the floor. So there's no mistaking the greatness of both. Just take a look here at what these youngsters have accomplished throughout their respective careers. Brady has a distinct 7-4 advantage in championships, but LeBron edges him in league MVP trophies 4-3. Gentlemen, let's do this. Keyshawn Johnson, you are up first. Who is the best team athlete over the last 20 years, sir? The floor is yours.
It's LeBron James, man. It's LeBron. I understand Tom gives us the everything. He's the GOAT at the quarterback spot. But when you look at LeBron James, just starting from his career in Cleveland to Miami, now with the Lakers, he has carried us two on his back to championships. When I argue against Tom Brady, it's not that Tom Brady isn't great. It's not that Tom Brady won't go down as the greatest potential quarterback ever to live, walk the face of the earth. But his early championships, those teams were carried by the defensive side of the ball. You played against them, Jeff, so you would know. The last championship that he won, again, that defense was pretty special in Tampa Bay. Although he contributed and did some things. When you look at LeBron James and you look at where he started, he limped a Cleveland team in his second or third year to the NBA Finals, I think it was, Stephen A. They didn't win it, but he was a kid. He should have been in high school, in college.
Fourth year, he came in the league in 2003. They went to the finals in 2007.
Young. So when you look at that, then you say, well, what about Miami? How many times has he been to the finals? He's been to the finals 10 times.
Right.
At once upon a time, he had been like 7 straight years.
Okay. Let me help you. Let me help you out here.
Help me.
Because your argument is utterly ridiculous.
Why? How? How so?
Let me explain.
How so?
I'm getting ready to break it down to you. First of all, a couple of things. Number one, we all know that LeBron James is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. He's phenomenal. We all get that. Nobody's disputing that. We get all of that, okay? And obviously, athletically, Tom Brady ain't even in the same class.
No.
LeBron is a superior athlete. We all know that, okay? But the question is really about the team sport element, okay? Let's take this into consideration. The New England Patriots, what have they looked like the last year and a half without Tom Brady?
That's
we
right.
Can say the same.
Hold on, wait No. I heard your point. You're going to hear mine. Because when LeBron won his first title, it was after he went to Miami, joined D. Wade and Bosh. Lost the first go-round, by the way, to Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki, and those boys, even Jason Terry, because at one time in the fourth quarter, Jason Terry was guarding LeBron James, and LeBron James would have scored him. So don't get me started with that, okay? Because they should have won that title, but they didn't do it, okay? So obviously, that happened. Then you win back-to-backs. Then you get annihilated by the Spurs. You go to Cleveland. Who do you have? You got Kyrie and Kevin Love. Now, Kyrie and Kevin Love both go down your first go-round in 2016, go to, say, 73-9. You take them out. I get all of that, okay? And then you go to L.A. and you win a title. Who do you have? You have Anthony Davis. When Tom Brady was in New England, okay, Tom Brady, particularly the latter years, I'm talking about when they beat a Seattle, okay, when they beat an Atlanta or what have you. I'm saying you look at them, and even though the defense was good, you looked at it and you said, okay, Tom Brady is the big reason why this team has been successful, which was proven after he leaves. Then he goes to Tampa Bay. When he goes to Tampa Bay, he finally has an opportunity to make decisions. And when he makes those decisions, what does he do? Because Bruce Arians leans on him, and he shows it, okay? He'll build it, okay? So all of those things may be taken into consideration. Here's my ultimate point against you. Keyshawn Johnson has been famous for saying this. There is no greater team sport than football. So this man, and by the way, and he still has more championships in an ultimate team sport. He has more championships than LeBron James, more finals MVPs, more Super Bowl MVPs than LeBron James. There's nothing to talk about. And by the way, has been to as many Super Bowls as LeBron James has been to the finals. So you just
piled on.
That's right.
And let's talk about where he started from. This dude is a 6th-round pick.
I'm not taking that away from him.
He's coming in unheralded. Nobody has it. And you watch what he did. The dude's only not made the playoffs once. In 20, think about football. So listen, his leadership.
I think LeBron's made it every year since he went to the championship.
When he walks in the building, he changes the culture. We talk about team and leadership. So when you're talking about Tom Brady and what he's been able to bring everybody else around him, he has improved them. Then you see him in Tampa. When he goes to Tampa, like that whole thing, that whole dynamic has changed. But he did the same thing in New England. He just wasn't given the credit as much because of Bill Belichick and that relationship. And that's all fine. That's all well and good. And they did have great defenses. They did have that. But
early on.
But as he progressed and his career moved on, he took, with the salary cap the way it was, he did more with less. He didn't have He didn't have those other dudes that you would go, those are the dudes. They'd bring in running backs like on a turnstile.
There's no question about it.
Receivers, there was no receivers that you would, man, this is the dude every time.
But guess what he did have, Jeff?
He made those around him better.
Guess what he did have? The greatest coach that ever walked the sideline.
I agree with that.
There's something to be said from that and Bill Belichick.
Well, here's the thing. When you look at him 20 years ago.
But hold on, man. LeBron, you went, now it's my turn.
Okay.
LeBron James, give me the list of his coaches. Who?
That's fair. That's fair. Frank Vogel, Mike Brown, Eric Spoelstra's good.
Eric Spoelstra's good. He got that. Okay, now what? Ty Lue was young at that time,
I understand that.
And LeBron was carrying that thing.
Okay.
And then when you go back and
hold on. Let's go with the coach for 1 second.
Okay.
As good as that relationship was, you don't think, think about what he did in Tampa. It made it more, it could make it more difficult as well. So as good as that relationship was, you and I both know there's a lot of tension that goes on of who we should bring in, how should we be better as a team. So that fight is real. So as good as it is, it also has some negatives as well that he had to overcome as opposed to being LeBron over all his coaches was the dude. You knew he was and that was not Tom Brady's path for 20 of his years. He got to be the dude when he went to Tampa.
Just like Tom Brady elevates everybody else around him. What you think LeBron?
I agree with that too. But LeBron for sure.
And then here's one for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take one championship away. I'm gonna take one championship away from Tom Brady.
Right.
Run the damn ball to Marshawn Lynch, man.
Oh, well, that's
run the damn ball. Instead of throwing.
That ain't his fault. All he can do is jump up and down and he pushed on Jimmy G.
Can I lighten the mood?
Yes.
Okay, so you were the star last night of one of my favorite broadcasts on Team Manning
don't do
here.
it, Tiffany Marley. Don't do it.
I had to make sure we get this
Don't
to the show.
do it.
Peyton and Eli had a little something for you. Could we please share that with our audience here?
Jeff Saturday loved the double tap. Eli, he loved me constantly spanking him, right? He preferred the double silent count as opposed to one.
This is how shady this is in life, bro.
What?
This dude loves to take shots every time because he knows you can't retaliate. He owns his own production company, bro.
You can't retaliate. You're on TV all day long.
No, he'll just buy more.
So
Molly, he just buys more. Just getting up there, bold face lying,
gifted.
Bold face lying.
So you like the slap opposed to the flutter?
Oh no! It was the flutter. It was not the.
Okay,
No, it's
Stephen A. I'm just trying to correct it. That's all.
I don't know how.
You saw Peyton was doing this. Peyton was doing this. And Keyshawn was like, nah. He was like, Saturday. We know better than that.
I like my job, and I'm going to distance myself from this conversation. I'm going to go back over there. Go ahead on First Take. That bad man takes on the undefeated man on Thursday. You are something special. Thursday Night Football. Does A-Rod stand a chance without his all-world wideout? Plus, over the weekend, some shocking video outside of Barclays. Stephen A. on whether Kyrie has become a sympathetic figure. We discuss that shortly. More First Take. The Packers could be without Aaron Rodgers' most important weapon when they take on the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday night. They placed wide receiver Davante Adams on the reserve COVID-19 list Monday after Adams tested positive for COVID. The odds for the Packers to win the game have gone down significantly since this news came out, from 3.5 to 6. Mina Kimes joining us now. Where is Mike?
Mina.
Good morning, Mina, or good afternoon. Hi. Always good to see you. We'll get to you in a second. Mina's going to be here with us for a minute. Key, I'll start with you. Did the Packers have a chance if Adams can't play?
I think they do have a chance because they still have, as Stephen A. would say, that bad man in Aaron Rodgers. And they still have Randall Cobb, and they still have Lazar, and they still have the tight end, and Aaron Jones, and Amani Rodgers. But in all, they got the quarterback. And anytime you have a quarterback like this, you always have an opportunity to win. Now, it's going to depend on whether or not the defense can come to the party to slow down what the Arizona Cardinals present on the offensive side of the ball with the weapons that they have in Kyler Murray. But I do think that they have an opportunity and a chance to still win a football game despite not having Adams in the lineup.
I mean, please. They ain't got no damn chance. I mean, theoretically, you want to throw out that they got a chance, go ahead, be my guest. But without Davante Adams, who's a primary target 3 times the amount that anybody else is targeted, I think not. Randall Cobb, that's the name you brought up. I mean, I know there's some chemistry and history there with him and Aaron Rodgers likes having him back there, and I get all that. Lazard's not a scrub, and, Tanyan and these guys, I get all of that. They going up against an undefeated Arizona Cardinals team which clearly has a chip on its shoulder because, as J.J. Watt said, there's always an excuse. There's always a reason. How about we're just better? We're just better. That's what J.J. Watt said, okay? I'm going to listen to that man. And I think for this particular game, it's not a playoff game. It's a regular season game on the road in Arizona. On a short week, I think this is the kind of night that Green Bay suffers from.
Mina, before you jump in, I just want to be clear. That bad man
well, you gotta have
that you
it's not gonna be his fault.
hard.
It's not going to be his fault. It's not going to be his fault. You got to get these receivers going to have to get
but
over.
I just want to make sure you're picking against him. Right?
I'm picking against him.
But you got to remember, Stephen A. leaving himself some wiggle room, man.
Yeah, it's fluid. Yeah, Mina,
I'm not leaving myself no wiggle room.
Mina, educate the folks, please.
Yeah, well, I'm actually not terribly worried about the offense. Now, to be clear, Davante Adams is one of the 2 best wide receivers in football. The other one, unfortunately for Green Bay, is on the other side of the field. But in his absence, Aaron Rodgers has been excellent. Actually, Stephen A., over the last 6 games he's played without Adams, he has a higher QBR, a higher completion percentage, higher passing yards per game. And that's not because of a Ewing effect or anything. By the way, with the same talent on the field, it's because of the scheme and his ability to operate within that scheme and elevate it. I think this running game will still be very good against Arizona. However, I actually agree with Stephen A. here, and I'm picking the Cardinals. And it's not because of the offense, and it's not because of the absence of Davante Adams. It's because this Green Bay defense has faced a relatively weak slate of quarterbacks outside of Joe Burrow. The secondary is lacking. I just don't think they have the defensive backs to keep up with all the talent Arizona has the field. So I think this is going to be a close game. I don't think the absence of Davante Adams kills them, but I think Arizona edges this one out just because of who they have on both sides of the ball.
Well, let me
So they still have a chance then.
Well, listen, I mean, hell, I got a chance, but the bottom line is this.
Well, that's the question.
Let me push back a little bit at Mina here.
Okay.
When we were in Arizona, we talk about the number 1 defense. We're talking about a top 3 defense against the pass. And so to me, I think that if you're the Green Bay Packers, you ain't gonna beat somebody because you're running all day. You're not doing it. You're gonna beat it because you got Aaron Rodgers making decisions and having reliable targets to throw to, which I think is going to be a question mark in this particular game on a short week without Davante Adams.
Mina, do me a favor though, really quick for Stephen A. He just tried to slide in there the number 1 team against the pass.
No, I said number 3. Number 3.
But number 3 team against the pass. Oh, Houston? Oh, you gonna
let's
add
look
them
at-
numbers in there too?
yeah.
I mean, like, let's be honest with each other now. Yes, they took care against the Rams. They took care of business.
The Rams.
But they ain't had no murderer's row, man.
I
I
100%.
mean, they beat Cleveland. They
That's
beat
not-
Cleveland.
that-
They beat
well,
San Francisco.
Cleveland without
Beat
their
the Rams.
offensive tackles and Nick Chubb. I mean, that one was really hard to evaluate. I was actually really looking forward to this game, Stephen A., because I wanted to see this Cardinals defense tested against a fully armed battle station on offense, and unfortunately, that is not what they're going to get. However, like I said, I still think the Packers offense can play well. We have seen this offense without Aaron Rodgers, and we have seen his secondary weapons, who are great, by the way, this past week, excel in the absence of Davante Adams. I think the Packers offense will still cook. It's the defense that I'm worried about.
And it's the importance of winning this head-to-head matchup for them, because as we get going in the season, that comes into playoff terms. They've got to win this football game. And the Packers know the difficulty of going on the road and trying to win with a team that's on fire. I'm not taking anything away from Arizona, but the question was, do they have a chance? The question wasn't, are they going to win? Is it over with? That's not, it was, do they have a chance? So yes, they have a chance, Stephen A.
But are they going to win?
I'm not telling nobody
See what I'm
right
saying?
now. I'm going to wait.
No, what do you think you're going to win? What are you waiting for?
with that
Molly,
one?
This
Molly,
is
Mina,
Keyshawn's day on first take. We're not
Mina,
going to wait.
He's
We're not
going to leave
doing
it up
this.
to the media. He's going to leave it up to the media because he's not a media
He's
member.
only been in the media for 20
He's going to leave it up to the media
years.
because he's not a media member at all.
I don't think
answer questions.
I don't think they'll win the game. It'll be close, like Mina said, but I think Arizona is on to something special right now in the desert. I do.
At least you answered that question. Good for you.
I think so.
All right. Mina will be back. Arizona favored by 6 now, guys. Still ahead on first take. The Nets got the win last night, but all eyes in Brooklyn remain on the Kyrie Irving drama. Stephen A. with the take that you gotta hear. And Mina Kimes was sleepless about Seattle last night after her team suffered another L, albeit her quarterback wasn't there. A shocking take on Pete Carroll that you will want to hear. Stay here.
I've been waiting on some good news.
A group of protesters gathered outside Barclays Center waving flags and signs while chanting no vaccine mandate, stand with Kyrie, before the Brooklyn Nets lost their home opener to Charlotte Hornets 111-95 on Sunday. Around 100 people stood in the plaza outside the arena and on the street blocking traffic on Flatbush Avenue, many showing support for Nets point guard Kyrie Irving's decision not to get at least one vaccination shot to comply with New York City's mandate in order to play home games. Stephen A., let me ask you this. Do you think these protests have actually made Kyrie a sympathetic figure here?
No, I don't believe that. Let me say this. There were also protests going on in New York City yesterday where the Brooklyn Bridge was being blocked because to meet the requirements of that mandate handed down by the local government here in New York, if people like municipal workers, police officers, people like that, hospital workers, stuff like that, if they don't abide by the mandate, they'll lose their jobs. And so people, if they don't get themselves vaccinated and what have you, so people have really taken that position to heart. And they and to be quite honest with you, even though I'm fully vaccinated, you are as well. You know, there are people that bring concerns, and it's not just black folks, it's white folks, it's Hispanic folks. There are millions upon millions of people in this country that really, really have a big time problem with the government saying get vaccinated or else, because you're mandating that they trust an entity they don't believe warrants their trust and what have you. So we understand that to some degree, the trepidation, the skepticism about things and what have you. But to me, that doesn't transfer to Kyrie because they're worried about losing their jobs and their livelihood. Kyrie is on social media telling you money ain't no issue. Don't worry about that with me. You know, he's pocketed over $200 million in his career. He's got $35 million on the table. He can take half the season off or, you know, and still end up with about 17 or 18 million this year. He's good. And so at the end of the day, they weren't making the argument to make him a sympathetic figure. They were using Kyrie's name to bring attention to their cause and what they're really fighting over, because obviously their lives are going to be profoundly affected in ways that Kyrie's is not. When it comes to basketball, here's the bottom line. We look at the Brooklyn Nets. We look at them thus far. We look at the way that James Harden is struggling. And I'm not to say that's going to stay the case because I believe in James Harden, but clearly they need Kyrie Irving. And when you anticipate what LA is going to do, when you anticipate what the Golden State Warriors are going to do, when you see the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat on the come up, Milwaukee Bucks the champion, Miami on the come up, it is clear that the Brooklyn Nets need Kyrie Irving. And if Kyrie elects not to come back, he may very well cost them the championship. So in that regard, I think the combination of everything that I just highlighted doesn't equate to him being a sympathetic figure in this.
You know, I'll just leave it on the basketball court for the most part.
Yeah.
They certainly would use him. I mean, they need him because he's an important figure and a part of what they do. Can James Harden and KD move the needle enough to get past the teams that you talk about? I think so, because it's still early in the stages.
Right.
We 3 games in.
Right.
We're having this conversation about what the Nets are 3 games in. We all know if Kyrie was on the floor with them, they're a stronger basketball team, no question about it.
Right.
Now, whether or not they can go down all the way and get to the championship and win it all, we got to wait to see that. But they're certainly a better basketball team with Kyrie.
Right.
Because when you have a guy like James Harden who's struggling, now you got another guy you could go to. If KD starts to struggle, now you got James Harden and Kyrie to go to.
Right.
You got 2 of the 3. But when you only got 1 of the 3 that's performing well,
But
you're not going to win.
are they beating Milwaukee without Kyrie? That's the question for me.
Jalen doesn't believe so, and right now Jalen's looking very prophetic because Milwaukee, with the exception of their blowout loss to Miami, has looked very, very strong. Miami's on a come up. We can't ignore them, and I get all of that. But I want to transition, not for debate purposes, but I'm going to transition, and not just to Keyshawn, to you too as well, Molly, because I'm really interested in hearing y'all perspective on this. I want to know what y'all feel as it pertains to what, if anything at all, you believe Kyrie might owe the Brooklyn Nets. And by that, I mean this. He is the reason everybody's in Brooklyn. Okay? And when you recognize what they look like without him, if that were to continue, then you have a situation where you're looking at the Brooklyn Nets and you're saying there's a chip on the line. When KD, Harden, and various other people, from what we hear, there's a whole bunch of NBA players, maybe not them specifically, but you hear surmise, there's a whole bunch of NBA players that were very, very reluctant to take the vaccine. They just understood that the NBA said, you don't take it, you don't get to be a part-time player. You take it, you in, you don't take it, you out.
Yeah.
So my question to y'all would be this. What, if anything, do you all believe he might owe the cats that he got to come to Brooklyn with him?
I don't, in this situation, I don't think he owes them anything.
Okay.
Because he ain't being paid, right? He's already been paid for the play in the past. That money's already done.
Is your question
he earned that money.
fiscally? Do you mean fiscally?
No, I'm talking about getting people to come.
Yeah.
He basically, essentially, he got KD to come play for Brooklyn.
Yeah. No,
and because of that, Griffin came. Because of that, the trade happened with James Harden.
Because of that, Steve Nash was hired as coach.
was hired. All of those sort of things.
Of course.
So he became a key piece of what they're trying to put together. Right. And so for me, I don't think he owes them anything, because if he decides that that's not what he wants to do with his body, that's his own right. If they believe, okay, I'm putting it in my body because I believe something different, like me and you and Molly, I'm okay with that. I just don't want to put that type of pressure on him.
Here's where
I
don't totally rock with you, Keyshawn, right? Okay, so say you have the chance to have a Super Bowl on the line, right? And you're going down to Tampa, right? And you're coming to Tampa, whatever, and that kind of thing. And then somebody decides to hold out because of the vaccine, and they're the real impetus for you heading down there, and you're the favorites and all of that. Are you really just going to be like, oh, I'm cool? I don't know if you'll continue to. You might forgive them, right? But I don't know. Are you going to deal with them the same way? Are you going to have the same type of relationship once they've broken
I may not have the same.
trust?
I may not. See, that wasn't the question, though.
Right.
I may not have the same type of relationship.
That's where my mind goes.
I may not have the same type of relationship, but I certainly understand his beliefs. If that's what he, but I can't challenge somebody's beliefs, Stephen A. If that's what you believe, then I can't do it.
That's where I would be. I respect it. I get it. I respect
I
your
respect
religion, all of that, but I don't know if I would deal with you on the same level.
Kyrie's godfather is Rod Strickland. Rod Strickland and I go back a long ways. I love that brother. I love him to death. And obviously he and I don't agree on this, and I'll leave it at that. But I got mad love for my brother Rod Strickland, okay? And there are a lot of brothers out there that have called me on Kyrie's behalf.
Yes.
You know, because of how strongly I came at
Defending
him.
him.
You know what I'm saying? In defense of him. And I respect where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I totally understand. So I get where you're coming from. Here's where my belief is, and I joked about this on NBA Countdown when I talked about he walking around like he want to part the Red Sea because Kyrie has walked into the arenas with this cane on, looking like Moses or what have you, acting like, you know, he's a prophet or something, okay? And then why I bring that up, and I'm half joking about it, but I'm not.
I understand.
Why do I bring that up? Because Kyrie goes on social media.
Yes.
And Kyrie says, quote, "I'm not anti-vaccine. I didn't take it, but I'm not anti-vaccine."
Well, then take it then, man.
Stay with me, because I want to get to a point here. He says, "I'm not anti-vaccine." What I'm about, he said, "I made a private decision for the moment." And then he highlighted how he's making this decision on behalf of others because he doesn't like how their rights have been infringed upon. So in other words, if you're not definitively anti-vaccine, then you're taking this principled position to speak for what you term to be the voiceless. And I'm saying that is at the expense of your brothers who need you. Now, if you are completely and totally against the vaccine, and that's that, and damn it, you ain't taking it, and that's the will, and you willing to lose the money, I'm with you.
But do you feel like he doubled down too much now? So maybe even if he wants to play, he wouldn't get the
He could always come back. What I'm saying is, if he's like Keyshawn said, "I'm not putting this into my body. This is the reason I've taken this stance."
Yeah.
Cool. That's not what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying he's doing it on behalf of the voiceless. And first of all, they ain't voiceless. There's millions of people who are against the vaccine. They're not voiceless. They're not voiceless.
But you also could voice your opinion.
Right.
When you can do both things.
You can do both.
You can do both things. You can help your team win a championship if that's what Stephen A. is saying is the case, that you're not against the vaccine. So take the shot and still.
And I'm saying based on what he said, it ain't about him being against the vaccine. So if it's not about you being against the vaccine, well, KD and them are out there, they need you.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Yeah.
Now, if you against it, KD and them ain't going to force you to put nothing in your body. They understand. And you willing to lose $35 million, all right, fine, that's your business. They may not like it, but we all respect it. But he's saying, no, that's not it.
No,
it's because I want to give a voice to the voices.
You can still give a voice,
you can still give a voice, but you're willing to sacrifice being there for your brothers. And that's what I'm looking at. He brought that they came to Brooklyn to join Kyrie Irving.
See now this. I know we got to move.
Yeah.
But now it's a different conversation.
Right.
It's a different conversation now that you bring that up.
Right.
Because you can do both. You can help them conquer the goal and win a championship because I'm vaccinated and I'm still a voice for people that feel a certain way.
Absolutely.
I got family members that feel that they don't want it.
That's right.
And I'm okay with that. Just understand the situation.
And swear there's research out there to counter, you know, some of the stuff, some of the pro-vaccine folks out there. And I'm like, go ahead.
We don't need to get, but I'm not going to challenge his religious or health beliefs.
No,
but at the end of the day, if I'm KD and I'm disappointed you didn't keep your commitment. Sorry. And I might not deal with you on the same level. Still ahead, whether you blame Jimmy G or the defense or other, the 49ers are in trouble. Keyshawn with a scorching hot take. You got a good take on San Francisco? Better not disappoint us. That's coming up. Mina will be back.